Hey guys, what's going on? This is Coffee is for Closers. You guys know what day it is. It is Tuesday at 2 o'clock. I'm going to start recording the audio so I don't forget anything. Because you know me, I sometimes forget stuff. So welcome. I hope everyone had an amazing week. I've got a lot of good stuff. Today we are talking about a hot topic about getting past the no's, rejections. Last week we covered a little bit on it, but today we are talking all about no's and rejections, why it happens. We found lots of cool quotes today, so I'll be sharing those. Feel free to share this on your pages with your friends, family, salespeople, other entrepreneurs that need to hear our message, because that is the goal for today. Hi, Zara. And you guys know the drill. Thumbs up, share, comment below. At the end, I will do Q&A. So if you've got a question, please type it in the comments and I will answer it at the end because that is my favorite section. And I know it's your favorite section too. And just remember, it is Coffee is for Closers. So if you need a beverage, go grab one. Like Garen Jones, if you've got banana caramel Herbalife meal replacement shakes, or if you've got Starbucks coffee, or if you've got water, wine, tea, beer, margaritas, whatever your drink of choice is, just make sure you are hydrated. And I'm going to show you my slides as other people start joining in. And if you're live on LinkedIn, you can go over to the Facebook page for where we host live shows, which is The Pitch Queen on Facebook. But today we are going to talk about our signature recipe. As always, we always have a signature recipe, right? And I'm going to show you my screen, so hang tight. All right. So this is Coffee is for Closers. We are getting past the no's today. If you wonder or ever have the thought like, man, I can't believe this person told me no or they didn't want to work with me, we'll go all in on maybe why that's happening. And maybe something I share with you will spark something that you can try on the next meeting you have, on the next sales call, or the next pitch you're making if you're raising money. So let's go into what we are discussing today, our cup of wisdom, the grind of rejection, coffee grind that is, you guys. But you do have to grind it out and kind of get used to it. Do whatever means necessary. You know we always like our coffee, what do you call those, Amy? Coffee puns. Stirring stats. So there's some really interesting stats. And this was really cool to find, so I can't wait to share it with you. And energy for the soul. If you guys want these slides, and I've got a really cool thing at the end, just type in show in the comments below. If you're on Instagram, you can type in show too, and we'll send them over there. But let's go over what is the definition of rejection. And we're talking business and professional rejection. We're not talking personal dating stuff, okay? That's a different show, and there's a lot of other people that talk about that. What I want to talk about is why do people not maybe want to buy, or why are they telling you no, or why are they just saying not right now, I need to talk to my husband, or giving you all sorts of reasons why it just isn't working out for them. So rejection is neither an indication of value or talent. If you believe in what you have to offer, then don't stop offering it simply because someone or some of those you offer reject it. Okay, so this is from Zero Dean. He's an author and an artist. I love this because I agree. You can't just stop offering anything you're selling. So if you've got a great service, you've got a great product, keep practicing, keep asking in different directions. And I actually did this interview with a girl named Sarah this morning. And here is a really good analogy that I came up with. Who uses the Waze app? The W-A-Z-E app. You know what I'm talking about? You put in where you want to go. So let's say I want to go to Disneyland. I'm in San Diego and I want to go to Disneyland. I type in the Waze app, the Disneyland address, and it will tell me the fastest way to get there. However, if I click on the routes, there's 4 or 5 other ways that I could get there. When you're navigating through working with clients, and be it, if it's you're getting no's, or you're getting rejections, and you need to navigate the waters. It's kind of like being on the Waze app and you're clicking the route button, and sometimes you need to take another route. Maybe the route is asking your prospects or clients or future clients a different question. Maybe it's, your solution isn't really a good one for their problem that they're sharing with you. Maybe it's not a good fit. Anyway, what I'm saying is that the routes that it takes you on is actually what you need to continue offering your services. I have the sniffles again. Sorry, guys. But I really like this because it's not an indication of value or your talent. It actually has nothing to do with that. And when you can distinguish the two, it will really help you out and make it not so like if you're scared or you've got a little fear going on. It will help remove that. So this has nothing to do with you personally. It has nothing to do with your talent or what you're really good at, and it has nothing to do really with your value. It's really about them and you having just to kind of navigate and simply ask and offer your services a different way. So think of the Waze app and think of the different routes that you can attempt when you're working with these clients or future clients. Again, if you want these slides, just type in the comments below the word show. Okay? SHOW. They will come automatically because Amy has set up this really awesome thing called a messenger bot. So we've pre-programmed it. It's all of our writing, but it just helps us get it to you in real time. All right, the grind of rejection. Grind meaning coffee grinds, you guys. If you need a sip of water, grab it. So Chloe Grace, I totally love this chick. I love getting told no because I fight even more. I'm like right there with her. If I get told no a lot, I'm building that resilience muscle to try to get more yeses. And it doesn't happen overnight. It's similar to like if you want to run a marathon, you need to keep running. You need to keep running every day. You need to train. You need to stretch. You need to get massages. When you are offering your services and you're saying, you know what, I'm an entrepreneur, I'm out there hustling every day, you need to grow your business, right? Well, to grow your business, we all need to sell and serve our clients better and help them solve their problems with your solutions. In order to do that, we have to make our offers, and making our offers can get a little bit scary. And I know that because I used to be the same way. But when you can get to the other side and start loving being told no. I mean, I never love it. I always just try to know why or what could I have done better. So you get to learn and use them all as a learning experience, which is great too. So she's an actress, which is cool too because I interview actors and actresses. I've got more coming up on my podcast called Success Unfiltered. And on Success Unfiltered, I interview people on how they were told no a million times to get to where they are today, their most devastating no or rejection they had, their most accomplished no that they maybe had, and what did they do to overcome that. So you get to learn from so many cool people. So it's on iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher. If you type in show in the notes below, we'll send you the link to that too. All right, if you've got questions, type them in the comments. We will get to them at the end, I promise. It is my favorite part. So, don't be scared of all the no's you're going to get. Even the most successful people have been told no again and again. I know I'm saying the same thing over and over again, but it's the truth. And when you hear the truth, it sometimes needs to take a little while to sink in. So I want to go into a story, and I haven't really gone into depth in this story, but it's with the vitamin shop. And for those of you that have been following me, this might be a repeat, but for the newbies, with my last company, we got into a retailer called the Vitamin Shop. They have about 780 to 800 stores nationwide. We got into 10 of them in New York and New Jersey. We had a 6-month test, and in the test, we needed to prove our sales. Well, let's just say the test did not go to plan. It went well, but not great. In addition to that, the CEO, Tony, at the time, was the one who negotiated the deal with me, and then he retired. And on that day he retired, I said, uh-oh, what's going to happen? And what happened was, here, I'll go to my full camera too so you guys can see me. Hey, Etta. Show. Yay. Okay, ask questions. Zara, you got any questions? Ask questions. So anyway, at the vitamin shop, what was interesting is we had a 6-month commitment. Past the 6 months, I didn't know what to expect. But you always need to keep your mindset really intact, so if you've got some areas to work on, what you think about is actually what will happen. And I kept thinking that when the CEO retired, I was like, uh-oh, I think that we might lose this deal. Well, we did lose the deal. I don't think if my mind would have told me otherwise, it would have changed the outcome because it was such a big company. But my point is that when I got the phone call, and it was literally at the 6-month mark because we had a 6-month commitment, we went from doing really, really, really great every month to back to where I was 2 years ago. Overnight. I will never forget, I was on the phone with Doug Jones. I was attempting not to cry. No, I was really crying, but I had him on mute, and I was trying to not sound stuffy and congested. But, that was a big no I got. And I was pretty upset for about a day or two. But I got over it, and I said, what could I have done better? What could I have learned from this experience? And when we get told no, we have to reflect from that point of view, because after that, some other amazing things happened, but it was because of the reflection that I had from Doug. He said we couldn't execute on the operations side. We didn't get the sales we were hoping. They invested $1 million in this project, but it was the best experience of my life. And it might have been one of the most accomplished no's that I had too. Because your most accomplished no is that big one that you get before everything turns around. And after that, we had a lot of other amazing opportunities. Costco happened after that. But if you think about your no's, some of them are devastating. Some of them are really, really bad. Some of them are an accomplished no where, wow, you really got to reflect, you got to learn, and you got to take these learnings and move them forward into your next venture, what you're doing. And that's what I've done today. I've been told no so many times in the last 10 years that, I just hear a no and I just keep moving on. And it takes a long time to get to that place. So one of my things for you guys is just if someone were to tell you no in business, just anything, not even from a client or a phone call, but just anywhere, what can you take from that? Maybe what did you not explain well? What were the results of your, test? There's so many different scenarios, but how can you look at that as, what? I'm going to get one step closer to a yes, and I'm going to learn one thing from this experience. So I wanted to share that with you guys. And we'll move on to the next slide. And if you have questions, type in show in the notes below. Also, if you want a hat, remember we're giving these hats away, so all you have to do is like the post, comment below, and share it on your page. And that's share it on Facebook, by the way. Or on LinkedIn, you can share it there too. I don't think on Instagram you guys can share anything, so sorry. All right. Sip of water. Do whatever means necessary to improve. And that's what I was just talking about. Every no is an opportunity for you to do and tweak something to make an improvement. Slight improvement, slight switch. Literally, it can be anything. If it's in the one direction to the positive. You don't want to take these no's and go down a downward spiral. You know what I mean? I'm sure we've all been there. I've been there too. We want to say, okay, what was one thing I learned? What's one thing I can change the next time I do this? And how can I implement it quicker and faster? And you're going to get to more yeses. So Jack Canfield, you guys all know who he is, right? He's author of Chicken Soup for the Soul. Great stuff. He asked his prospects if his pitch or proposal was a 10 on a scale of 1 to 10. If it was not a 10, what could he have done to make it better? And I do this too, even like on sales phone calls now that I do for people, or if a client doesn't want to work with us for whatever reason, I say, you know what? What could I have done better? Sometimes there's nothing you could have done better. Like they got all the information they wanted. They didn't have any more questions. It just wasn't a good fit. So I like to ask, and this is something you guys can do right away too, is ask for feedback. What can you do to make it better? What could you have done to make your presentation better if you did a presentation? What could you have done on a call? Let's say someone tells you no on a call. Okay, great. I really, really appreciate that. Can I ask you why? Why? Can you give me some feedback? Did I miss something? Did you not understand everything about our program or service or product? It can be a multiple different variations of that, but ask why. So ask your clients the magic why if you get a no to learn what you can improve on. Because every no is just another step in the way that you can make your products better, your pitches better, your presentations better, your calls better. It's a way to improve. And get feedback, like I mentioned. We already said that, right? Get feedback. And I'll give you an example too. I've been doing the silk stuff. Have you guys seen me? My aerial yoga stuff in this silk hammock. Well, if you haven't, check out my stories twice a week. But I always ask the instructor, hey, how was that? What can I do to improve? And how can I fix it? So if you take being an entrepreneur in sales or whatever, if you're in a sales job or whatever it may be, think about it as if you were doing some sort of sport. You can use the marathon analogy or you can use my silk stuff. If I do the wrong move, I want to know about it. If you say the wrong thing on a call, you want to know about it, right? So it's great to ask for feedback, and you can ask for feedback from your prospects because they will tell you, what do you have to lose? And that's the other thing I think of. If someone tells you no, you've got nothing else to lose. You only have an opportunity to gain. So what's the opportunity to gain? Some feedback. What's the worst thing they're going to do? No, I don't have any feedback for you, which doesn't really ever happen, but we have to ask. So you guys know how I am with asking. I always say, practice your asking once a day, even if it's just a sample at Costco they give you samples there. Sample at Starbucks. You guys saw me do that on my YouTube video. Just ask for anything that would be a little bit out of the ordinary. The one woman I was working with, she actually asked for payment before she delivered her services, which she's never done before. So she actually made her job harder before, where she would do the work and then have to go chase down the client to get paid. That's a lot of work, and we don't all have a lot of time for that. So what she said is she actually asked the client to get paid up front, and when she got paid up front, she didn't have to collect the money. And they didn't balk at that at all. I mean, that's kind of normal sometimes. And it was just because she asked. So I encourage you all to ask. And if you are told no, let's start finding out why. And then those are the areas you can improve on. If you've got questions, type in the notes below, If you've got questions, type in the comments below your question. And if you want these slides, type in the notes show. SHOW. All right, stats that will make you stir. This stuff is fascinating. I read this and I'm like, oh my God, it's me. Nearly 100% of the salespeople who are in the elite top 5% do not have issues with rejection. Again, this happens over time and it takes practice. However, you have to put yourself out there. There was a guy I saw on YouTube, Jai, J-A-I, and he wanted to get over being rejected. So he went and put himself in 100 different scenarios to get rejected. And guess what? He speaks all over the world now. His YouTube's got millions of views because what he wasn't good at, he went and put himself in that place to get really good at. And when you get rejected 100 times, then, you're going to get used to it. So I don't recommend you do that, but if you want to check out his videos, it's Jai, and he's on YouTube and you'll find him quickly. Now, nearly 100% of the salespeople who are in the bottom 74% do have issues with rejection. Right? It's interesting. So if you're an entrepreneur, I mean, you're 100% salesperson. You signed up for a 24/7 sales job. And there's lots of different ways you can sell. You can sell on the phone. You can do webinars. You can do pitches, buyers, Walmart. I mean, it just depends on what you're selling. However, working on this rejection piece is going to help you. It will help you increase your revenues. It will help you help more people. It'll help you get your products in more places that you've never thought before. So I highly recommend working on this area as much as you can, even if it's just one thing a day. One thing a day. That's it. So I love these stats. I forgot where we found them, but I'll put the link in there later. So sort of what we've already talked about, steps to improve, because I always like you guys to take action and take something away from learning this to actually implement today. No point in waiting. So steps to improve with handling no's and rejections is dealing with the rejection is vital to being successful. And it could be no's, it could be rejections, it could be failures in some of your guys' minds. Maybe you're like, you know what? I've never been told no, I've never been rejected. Okay, if that's you, then maybe look at some of your past failures or past things that didn't work out so well. You can still learn and tweak from those experiences. And do something each day to build the no and rejection muscles. So I talked about that. You can start working on asking for things, because when you ask for things, you might get rejected. You can work on getting feedback from your clients, so asking why. Or, if you made a presentation, get a friend or make a new friend in the audience and ask them for feedback. And then also, you guys know I have a podcast on this exact topic. I love this topic. It's how do you overcome no's and how do you overcome rejections through other people's stories. So you get to hear all sorts of people. I mean, I've had Pat Flynn, John Lee Dumas, Eric, the founder of Tender Greens, Pete, the founder of Pete's Paleo, Pete, the founder of Rise Bar. I've got Justin from Justin's Peanut Butter coming up on the show. I mean, I've got some really cool people that have done some amazing stuff. But do you want to know one thing in common? They were told no a lot, and they were rejected a lot. So I ask you to just start stepping in that right direction and finding out why, starting to ask for something every day, even if it's small, like, hey, can I have an extra napkin? Or if you've got, that little voice in our heads that's always spinning, and it talks to you. It's that thing that says, like my little voice, gosh, I hope they're writing comments and questions in the comment box below. It would be way more fun to end this show with Q&A. That's my little voice in my head, so I'm telling you what my little voice is saying out loud. But you all have a little voice in your head, and it talks to us all day long. So if your little voice is asking you to ask for something, just do what that voice is saying and just ask for whatever, because it's going to build your muscles that you need to build. And you'll see. You can all message me later when all this starts to work, okay? And again, a great resource is Success Unfiltered. It's my podcast. I've got one day left also for the review contest that we're doing. So if you want to leave a review, you can win like $500 of Amazon gift cards. Lots of details at thepitchqueen.com/prizes. And I would love to know, what's the number one thing you guys are struggling with when it comes to these no's and rejections? And we can cover it next week on Coffee is for Closers. Next week's going to be a very interesting episode too. So make sure to stay tuned, because we are going to paradise. And I also made, if you want to type show in the notes below, I made a guide on 3 ways to turn a no into a win. So it'll talk a lot about what we just talked about, but it's something in a PDF you can print out or you can fill it in. And again, just type show in the notes below, and we will head on over to Q&A now for questions, and I will answer them. What questions do we have?
Etta Wilson said, what's the best way to ask why you were rejected so you can improve your pitch?
All right, Etta. Sarah, what questions you got? Bilal, what questions do you have? I am so excited. We have questions today for Q&A. I get excited for questions. I need water. Okay, the best way to ask why you were rejected so you can improve your pitch. I had a question, you answered it. I know, but what's the specific, Etta? Tell me what you're pitching again. Sarah, smart. You're smart too. Interesting, thumbs up. If you all can just hit the share button on your Facebook pages, that will go out to a lot more people. I would greatly appreciate that. Etta, we already talked about it. My brother always told me, make them tell you no. Yeah, I like what your mom says, because when you get told no, you just get to practice and figure out your route better. I love my little Waze analogy I came up with this morning. You know, Waze gives you 4 or 5 different routes. So if you get told no, we just need to pick a different route and try a different angle. Maybe they're missing the value of what you're doing. Maybe you just are missing one sentence. It could be a multitude of different things. But when you ask why, pitching software to a Fortune 500 company, okay. So they told you no, the software company. I would just ask them, what could you have done better in your presentation, number 1. Number 2, I would say, was there anything that you feel I missed in my presentation that could have helped you better understand our product? Usually I would say with software companies, they're not understanding everything that product provides. So a lot of software stuff's very complicated. Like if I were being pitched software, I am technically challenged at times. So technology isn't my thing. You've got to think that maybe the buyers also, don't understand all of the elements if you're speaking. Good idea. You need to speak at like a 4th grade language. So when you're selling and serving your clients and stuff, you want to make sure it's like easy to digest. Sometimes if you get too technical, you're going to lose people, even buyers at software companies. So hopefully that helps. Let me know if that one helps, okay? Any other questions?
Yeah. So
on Instagram.
Someone's a business development analyst, and their job description is to convince clients to get their sales, and what's the best strategy for that?
Convince your clients? The word is convince? Okay. That's the wrong word, all right? When you are serving and selling to I know the word selling people don't really like, so we're going to change it up a little bit. Serving, helping, whatever it may be, there is no convincing going on, you guys. So I want to just get that clear like ASAP. You should not have to convince anybody. If you do a good job presenting, you show value, you know your worth, all these things that you like checkbox, 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 we're good to go. The people should want to have what you have. Like they want to buy. You should not have to convince anybody. If you find that you're starting to go down the convincing path, then you've got a problem. We have to go way back and start from the beginning on your presentation if you hear convincing. Okay, what's that question one more time, Amy? I got a little lost when I heard the word convincing.
What's the best strategy to get clients to get more sales?
What are you online? What do you sell? Are you there? Hello? No? What does he do? A business strategist?
Business development analyst.
And he needs his clients to sell more?
No. Convince clients to get our sales.
I don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't understand your question, but if you come back or you put in the comments later, what specifically are you trying to convince your clients? I do not like the convincing word. There's something missing for sure. I just don't know what it is, but I'd be happy to answer it next week. So if you want to type it in the comments below, we'll get to it next week. Etta, it did. Cool. Yeah, I would change up your, your lingo and how you're making your presentations to these software companies. Because if you're too techie, I would make it like clear, concise, 4th, 5th, 6th grade reading level for sure. All right, so again, if you want the 3 ways to turn a no into a win, type show in the notes below. It's going to come to you at the speed of light to your DM box, your instant messenger box, or whatever box you have. And it was an honor being here with you today. I hope you thought it was really, really helpful, because this is definitely a topic that's important to discuss and an area to really practice. It does not happen overnight. You really need to take time, practice, keep trying, keep navigating. And I will see you guys next week from Paradise. So make sure to tune in. 2 o'clock Pacific time, Tuesday. Coffee is for closers. I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining me. See you next week, Etta. You're awesome.